Hello, today we're here to talk to Sean Williams, who is the composer for Lucid Dreaming. So, Sean, let's talk about the composer-director relationship and how you went about creating the music for the film. But to kick things off, what is your style of music and sound and things?
So I call myself an ambient electronic musician. So I've got a bunch of albums out through Project Records in the States, and I like to make the music that I like to work to because I'm a writer in my normal life. Mm-hmm. So my music is very spacious, very dreamy, very ambient, few melodies, few beats, really extended kind of tones and lots of rich pads and things with some natural sound sources kind of mixed into usually unrecognizably to fill it out and give it a more organic kind of sense. So that's the kind of music that I like to work on. So when you approached me and said, "Hey, I'm making a film about lucid dreaming," I went, "Oh,
might work." Yeah. So let's talk.
I've jumped ahead. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Let's talk about the approach because I think that's a good place to start for people thinking about making a film or wanting to work with a composer. How did that approach kind of work, and what did we do in the first kind of, stage?
Well, I think you mentioned that you were shooting a film, and my radar kind of went off because I grew up listening to film music, and I'm really interested in film scores, and I always wanted to score music for film. And I've done some stuff for a stage play, and of course we worked together on the short film. When you approached me and said you're doing the short film, this film, Lucid Dreaming, I think I might have said, if you need some music,
yes,
and I'd be interested. So, and you said, yes, actually, we would be interested. So it was a very cautious kind of approach. I didn't want to throw myself into the film if you already had somebody in mind, but I was really glad that you did.
But I just jumped at that.
You just jumped at that. That's right. You were obviously looking. I can see in retrospect that you were looking for somebody, and perhaps hoping that I would offer my services and from there, it was just a matter of what is the project, how are we going to work together, that kind of communicative sort of approach.
And we had a couple of meetings, sitting down, discussing it. From your perspective, what did we do in those meetings, and how did we kind of go about working out what we were going to be doing, I guess?
So our first meeting was the spotting meeting, where you had sent me a script, which I had read. So I guess that was the first day. I said yes. Then you said, "Here's the script. See, how do you feel about that?" And I read the script and made some notes, and then we met and went scene by scene through the script. I would share my opinions. You would share your opinions. Sometimes we would be in agreement. Sometimes if we weren't in agreement, we would discuss and settle on either of our opinions, or we would find a third solution that we came together collaboratively on. And then it was a matter, I guess, to me, of reflecting on the conversations we'd had and starting to compose some pieces that I thought might fit. And I really enjoyed making music, and I felt a little bit like I was throwing stuff at the wall, which wasn't a bad process, really, because I can compose pretty quickly. And if I had a sense of how something might sound, I would do a quick draft, like a 1 or 2 minute sketch, and you would sometimes say, "Yes, that's great." Sometimes you'd say, "Not sure." And sometimes I wouldn't hear anything, which I took to mean, "Oh, no." And then you were too polite to say. But that's okay, because I think we worked out just before that maybe about half of what I made in, but that means that half of what I made didn't go in, and I reckon that's a pretty good strike rate, really.
I think at least half, or versions of, went in. But if I said to you, and we've talked about this outside the video, when was the turning point for our collaboration? What was the moment we knew that we were going in the right direction?
Yeah, that moment was such a powerful moment. I'd sent you a clip. I'd written a piece of music that was sort of very atmospheric and very slow, and you had filmed a sequence with one of the dreamers, and you put the music to it and said, "This is really working," and sent it to me, and I watched it, and it was like watching finished product. And I know then there was color grading and following, everything else that happened later, but I looked at it and thought, "Oh yeah, this is really working right now." That even if that's the only piece that Tom likes, then we know we can work together and we can make something really amazing that was so atmospheric and powerful.
Yep. definitely. I think it was, that was a huge moment for me because I knew we were on the right track.
Totally.
So, the other thing that was maybe unique to our working relationship, and I'm sure other people do this as well though, is some of the music was original and some was from the back catalogue. Do you want to kind of talk about that?
Yeah, so I've got quite an extensive back catalogue now of music that I've written to be just music, but it all has a kind of filmic quality in a way because I'm really interested in capturing emotions and capturing little slices of experience through music, which a lot of composers do, of course. And I said to you that you could, here's the keys to the kingdom in a way.
Yes.
There's anything in here that you need. I did that partly because I thought there might be stuff in there that you would find useful. But I also thought 100 days, not very long to compose a full score. And I knew there would be commitments of work coming up. So I thought, well, this could make it easier for both of us. If you have access to logged off hundreds of hours,
a lot.
A few dozen.
Yeah. And there was a lot, but it was hugely beneficial because I think I did 2 big rounds of picking things. The first, I asked for quite a few tracks.
Yeah.
More so at that stage of things that I liked, that I could kind of hear in the film. And then the second round, which I think I asked for four more tracks, were when I had specific ideas, dreams that I needed or moments that I needed, to have more music on. And that worked really, really well.
Yes.
So I think it's a good mix between stuff that already existed and stuff that is custom created for the film.
And part of that process, you would send me clips and say, here's a dream sequence. Here's shots of the dreamers. And that really helped too when I was still writing new stuff, because I could go, well, now I've got a sense of what these 1 minute dream sequences might look like, and now I can see what the characters look like. And I think there's that interesting interplay. I mean, you listen to my music, you were listening to my music while you were shooting the film. And I don't know whether it had any influence on you, but certainly while I was looking at the not the rushes, but the sort of quick edits while I was writing the music, and that was really helpful as well.
Yeah, look, I think getting my head around the type of music that you love to create and having that first kind of success of syncing some music to vision and then going and filming more, I was kind of, I was discovering the film as I was making it as well, but it was definitely very helpful to be thinking about the music while shooting, not after filming. Now, let's jump forward. You came in and watched a fine cut of the film. I think it's important for us to kind of, as a composer, director, talk about that.
Yes.
What occurred at that session for you and how was it beneficial and what did we do,
It was because you had some music already in the rough cut, and there were lots of silences that needed filling in various ways, either through Foley or through music. I found that process really useful because there's a huge difference, obviously, between reading a script and watching a film. And seeing the final version of the film, or not the final version, the rough cut of the film, you get a much clearer sense of the energy and the rhythms of the visual medium and what the actors are doing. And that really helped clarify the spaces and the ways we would fill those spaces musically and sonically. So I came away from that meeting with several key compositional kind of projects to work on.
Yeah, and I think that then it allowed us to work again remotely and via email and message to say like, oh yeah, I'm working on this now. We didn't have to talk too much after that because I think we both knew the project so well and we really discussed and worked out what were the remaining tasks.
Yes, we developed a kind of shorthand for
of
the various sequences that we were referring to, which doesn't mean to say that my particular version control was particularly effective. And I think that's an important thing that's something that's very important that I would do differently next time. I would work out a much more coherent language of naming files and naming sequences so that we were on the same page.
I think that's, yeah. I mean, that's minor, I think. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know. But thankfully, the wrong track didn't end up anywhere at any point or etc.
So that kind of brings me to the end of my questions. But I think the important thing I want to kind of end on is, what advice do you have for composers, for directors, for emerging kind of filmmakers, practitioners working together?
I would say the same thing that I would say to any group of people or any person thinking of collaborating together. There are 3 rules of collaborating, and they're communicate. I mean, you are an excellent communicator, and so I always knew exactly where I was in terms of the process and what the expectations were of me at every point during the process of working on this film. I've been in other collaborations where the ground has shifted, as it inevitably does.
Yeah.
Any production, things change and move, and there are all sorts of unexpected things that happen, and new ideas come along. And if somebody's not communicating those expectations to everybody on the team, then it can lead to conflict and mistakes. And there's none of that here. So I think communication, really, really important. I feel like we were on the same page all the time. I feel no resentment at all for the fact that you didn't like half of my tracks, but that's okay because it is a process of discovery and learning. And I never once felt like you said, I need something, and then I feel like I delivered it, and then you said no. No, what I meant was everything. The communication pathways were completely clear, but I was trying to do what you wanted, and if it changed, you would say, "Oh, actually, now it's changed." So you were never a bad client. I guess is what I'm saying.
Good. Great. Excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much to Sean for coming in today and talking to me about the journey that we've been on. So
thanks, Sean. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.